If you're in the market for a gaming PC under $800, this is the video for you, as we're going to be going over the best possible gaming PC under $800 in the month of December 2017. But this build will be great in early 2018, even halfway through the year. So if you're watching this in 2018, have no fear, this build is still solid. As always, all of the links to all the parts can be found down below in the description. If you just want to buy this entire PC all at once, there's also going to be a link for that, all from Amazon. And you can also view this build on my website, as well as many other builds just like it, linked down below as always. Starting things off with the CPU, I went for the Ryzen 5 1400. I want you guys to let me know what you think of this CPU choice in the comments down below. Here's the thing, guys, when Ryzen came out, it really blew Intel out of the water, and they had to do something to come back and even out the market so they wouldn't lose all of their business. Now, Coffee Lake is probably their attempt to do that. And I know that Coffee Lake CPUs are awesome, and in some cases they're better than Ryzen. However, at this point in time, it's really hard to find a Coffee Lake CPU that's either in stock or not way overpriced. The motherboards for Coffee Lake CPUs are also hard to come by now. They're either out of stock or a little bit too expensive. So for the sake of saving money and making your life a lot easier, I went for the Ryzen 5 1400, which is still, don't get me wrong, an amazing CPU. It's a quad-core CPU with 8 threads. So it's got multi-threading, giving it essentially 8 cores that can be used, 4 physical and 4 theoretical. It performs really, really well. I think it's an awesome CPU. Just for $150, you really can't beat it. It will have no problem keeping up with our graphics card, which is the Zotac GeForce GTX 1070 8GB mini. So this is a $400 graphics card, but it is a 1070. I think it's the cheapest 1070 I could possibly find, but it's still a 1070 from Zotac. It's an excellent card. Well, it will have no problem. This build will have no problem gaming in 1440p, 60 FPS. If you want to game in 1080p, you'll get over 100 FPS in almost all titles. Unless the games are very, very poorly optimized, you will have no problems. PUBG, Fortnite Battle Royale, any of those games you want to play, this build will have no problem doing it with amazing graphical settings. And again, this has 8 gigs of dedicated RAM, so it will have no problem handling higher resolutions. And if you want to game on multiple monitors, this is the card for you. The motherboard for this build, I went for the ASRock AB350M for only $63. It is a cheaper motherboard, and I believe it is a micro ATX form factor. There's not much to be said about it. There's not a lot of fancy features, but it has plenty of SATA 6GB connectors, onboard USB 3, all that good stuff. So you shouldn't have any problems with the motherboard. Upgradability might be a problem in the future if you choose to get a second GPU, but on this budget, I mean, having one GTX 1070 is plenty. I don't think you're gonna need to get a second one. And if you decided to do that, you could always just buy a new motherboard. Or if you wanted to buy a different motherboard now that supports SLI, you could do that. And then when the time comes to get a second GPU, you would have no problem doing that. Just switch it out for a different motherboard of your choice. But in my opinion, I think it's a great motherboard, especially for the build. So for the RAM, I chose G.Skill Ripjaws 5 series. It's 8GB, 2400 MHz. This is actually a kit of 2 sticks of 4GB, so you are getting dual channel memory, which is going to increase your speeds a bit. Unfortunately, I didn't have it in the budget to go for 16 gigs of RAM at this time, even though I know 12 and 16 gigs of RAM is recommended for some of the newer games. I wanted to put that money towards the GPU, as that's going to have a lot more of an impact on gaming performance. If you want to upgrade to 16 gigabytes, you can always just go ahead and buy an 8GB stick for now, and then get another 8GB stick later, or you could do that now if you wanted to. Unfortunately, RAM prices have been going up as well as GPU prices, so it is a bit harder to find components that can fit into the budget. So right now, I think this is the only option if you want to keep your total under $800. But if you do have the extra money to spend, then I'd highly recommend upgrading to 12 gigs or even 16 gigs of RAM. For the mass storage, I chose the WD Caviar Blue 1TB, 7200 RPM internal hard drive for $50. Now, this hard drive is pretty standard among gaming PCs. I don't think I've seen a single gaming PC build without a WD Caviar Blue. It's a great hard drive. I've had mine in my build for about 2 years now, and while I've had to upgrade other parts in the past 2 years, I have not had to upgrade my 1TB Caviar Blue hard drive. And 1TB of storage it's a lot, guys. It's over 1,000 gigabytes. You should have no problem with that. If you want to upgrade, you can always get a second drive. And if you want to get an SSD, go ahead. I did not put one in the budget, as once again, GPUs and RAM are getting a bit more expensive, and I wanted to allocate more money to those components, as this is a strictly gaming PC, or at least that's what it was intended to be, even though it will be really, really good for recording, editing, streaming, all the other good stuff that another workstation PC has to offer. I wanted to, I wanted to focus on the gaming aspect, as it is titled as a gaming PC. So the GPU is more important than an SSD. While an SSD does offer faster loading times, once you actually get into the game, it won't help your FPS or anything. The GPU will, and the CPU will. so I decided to allocate the money towards those components. Powering this build is going to be the EVGA 450 watt 80 plus bronze certified power supply for 25 bucks. It's a pretty cheap power supply, but it gets the job done. As parts are becoming more and more efficient, you don't need any crazy high wattage. And it is 80 plus bronze certified, meaning it is power efficient. You won't be wasting too much money with your electricity bill. And housing all of the components is the NZXT S340 in black. This case looks awesome. It is just, I think it's superb. It's got a nice big side panel window so you can see all of your components. For just $70, I think it's a really sleek, good looking case. Now, if you want to buy all the parts that are listed in the video, I have individual links to each component on Amazon. If you want to buy this PC all at once, I have links to an Amazon shopping cart where you can just hit buy and it will just add it all to your cart automatically with no issues. Some of the components may be a bit different when you buy them from your cart, as I try to keep it updated because prices fluctuate, so I change components out once in a while to make sure it still fits the budget. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you. Leave a comment down below once again if you think the Ryzen 5 1400 was a good CPU choice, or if you think you'd rather have the coffee-like CPU. That's your guys' decision though. I went with what I thought was best. But anyway, I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Peace.